Digital transformation. You hear that phrase everywhere, right? But it's so much more than a buzzword. It's one of the single biggest challenges and, hey, opportunities that businesses are facing today. Getting it right is tough, but getting it wrong, that can be fatal. So what's the secret? How do the winners succeed where so many others fail? Well, let's break down their playbook.
Okay, let's kick things off for the number that should honestly stop you in your tracks. According to McKinsey, at the pace we're going, a jaw-dropping 75% of the companies on the S&P 500 today will be gone by 2027. No, that's not a typo. 3/4 of today's big players just vanished. This isn't just about outmaneuvering your competitors anymore. This is about pure survival.
Look, the pressure to evolve has never, ever been greater, and it's crystal clear that the old playbooks just don't cut it anymore. Trying to tackle transformation in bits and pieces, it just leads to a mess, low adoption, frustrated users, and a whole lot of wasted money. To get through this maze, you need a clear, structured framework.
And this is it. This is that framework, the 5 levers of transformation. Think of it like this. It replaces that chaotic, frantic scramble with a focused, deliberate approach. It helps you orchestrate change across the 5 areas that really move the needle: people, process, data, technology, and of course, culture. When you get all these levers moving in sync, you create an incredibly powerful engine for real, lasting change.
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer. We've already covered the why, the digital imperative. Now, we're going to break down each of these 5 levers one by one. And to make it real, we'll look at a fantastic example from Nestlé, the world's largest food and beverage company, to see exactly how they put this theory into practice.
All right, let's dive right in with lever 1, people. We start here for a reason, because at the end of the day, any transformation, digital or not, is fundamentally about people. The real goal is to shift away from those old, slow, rigid structures and move towards agile, collaborative teams that can actually get things done.
Nestlé is a brilliant case study here. They didn't just cross their fingers and hope for change, no, they engineered it. First, they created a special team called the Digital Adoption Center. Then, they built a community of practice around it, empowering almost 300 internal champions. They call them DApp builders to drive change from the inside out. The whole mission was to boost the entire workforce's digital dexterity.
Okay, up next, lever 2, process. Now this is super important. We're not just talking about automating a broken, clunky process that everyone already hates. This is about completely reinventing workflows from the ground up to cut out friction and focus on making things efficient and creating a great experience for the end user.
And just take a look at this. This table shows exactly how Nestlé fixed 2 massive process headaches. First, they had this hiring process that was a total mess, a tangle of 16 different systems. Can you imagine? By streamlining it, they saw a 70% drop in support tickets. Then, while migrating to a new HR system, they used in-app guidance instead of old-school training, and boom, a 200% increase in people actually completing their tasks. That's what rethinking the process can do.
That brings us perfectly to lever 3, data. You know, the most successful companies out there, they are absolutely zealous about metrics. It's all about switching to a data-first way of thinking, using analytics not just to see if you're on track, but to really truly understand your employees' pain points, and then prove that your solutions are actually working.
You know, this quote from a senior global product manager at Nestlé just nails it. They don't guess what the problems are, they don't assume, they start with the actual user experience data to find the exact friction points, and only then do they build solutions to fix those real-world challenges. So, does this whole data-first thing actually pay off? Oh yeah, let's look at the numbers. In just a rolling 12-month period, Nestlé measured over $30 million in financial productivity gains. $30 million. And what does that mean in human terms? Well, it translates to more than 1.5 million productivity hours given back to the business, time their people could use for more valuable work.
And check this out. The impact on pure efficiency was just staggering. After they rolled out data-driven in-app help for their ServiceNow platform, those "how do I do this" support calls plummeted by 93%. The takeaway here is huge. Data doesn't just measure value, it literally creates it.
All right, that leads us right into lever 4, technology. And the key thing to get here is that it's not just about having the latest, flashiest gadgets. It's about building a smart, agile tech stack that serves the user, one that allows you to move at 2 speeds, improving your core systems carefully while rapidly innovating on the tools your people use every day.
Nestle's approach here is a masterclass. They rolled out a digital adoption platform across more than 200 applications to create a consistent, easy-to-use experience. But here's the really cool part. They also use tech to get smarter, using tools to find shadow IT and shadow AI, basically unapproved apps people were using. They even used UI intelligence to generate heat maps to see exactly where users were getting stuck on a page. That's the kind of insight that lets your IT team be, in their own words, nimble and quick.
And that brings us to our fifth and final lever, and you could argue it's the most important one of all: culture. This is the glue. It's what holds everything else together and makes it all work. It's definitely the hardest to change, but it's also the most powerful. It's about building a mindset that loves to learn, that encourages experimentation, and that isn't afraid of taking smart risks.
At Nestle, you can see this cultural shift so clearly. They moved from the before world, traditional training, slow reactions, teams stuck in their own silos, and they moved to the after world, where decisions are driven by data, where they're actively creating new ways of working, and where they've built a culture that, as they say, isn't afraid of risks. That is the environment where real transformation can finally grow.
So, we've walked through all 5 of these powerful levers: people, process, data, technology, and culture. The big question is, what happens when you align all of them and pull them all at once?
You get this, a unified transformation engine. And this is the most crucial takeaway. The levers aren't just a checklist you tick off one by one. They are deeply interconnected parts of a single machine. Their real power isn't in any single one, but in orchestrating all 5 to work together in harmony, driving the entire company forward at scale.
So there you have it, a breakdown of the 5 levers that power successful digital transformation. The real question for you now isn't if you need to get these levers moving, but how you can get them all turning together in perfect sync for your own organization. Thanks for watching.